It was another sunny morning in the big house where Tom the cat and Jerry the mouse lived. As always, the house was quiet at first until Jerry peeked out of his tiny mouse hole and smelled something delicious. The cook had just baked a fresh pie and placed it on the kitchen windowsill to cool. Jerry's little nose twitched. "Apple pie, I must have a taste," he whispered. But Jerry was not the only one who noticed the pie. Tom, lying lazily on the couch, opened one eye and spotted Jerry sneaking toward the kitchen. A grin spread across Tom's face. "Not today, little mouse. That pie is mine." And so, another classic chase began. Jerry tiptoed across the floor, but Tom was already behind him, crawling low and silent. At the last moment, Jerry dashed under the table, and Tom slammed into a chair, knocking it over with a loud crash. Jerry giggled as he climbed the table leg and reached the pie. But before he could take a bite, Tom's paw snatched the pie away. "Gotcha," Tom hissed. Of course, Jerry had a plan. He jumped onto Tom's head, pulled his whiskers, and made him drop the pie. The pie flew through the air, spun around, and landed right on Tom's face. Splat! Tom wiped the pie off angrily while Jerry laughed so hard he nearly fell over. But the adventure was far from over. Later that day, Jerry spotted a block of cheese inside the refrigerator. He quickly built a rope out of string to lower himself down. But Tom was waiting nearby, disguised as a lamp. When Jerry passed by, Tom pounced, Jerry screamed, and ran straight into the living room, where chaos exploded. The chase led them onto the piano. Jerry danced across the keys, playing silly music, while Tom tried to grab him. Every step Jerry took made a funny note, and soon it sounded like they were playing a wild concert. Suddenly, Jerry jumped onto the chandelier, and Tom followed. The chandelier shook and finally fell, landing on the couch, bouncing Tom into the air and crashing him onto the floor. Just when Jerry thought he was safe, Tom brought out his secret weapon, a vacuum cleaner. He turned it on, and it sucked up everything in its path: books, pillows, even a goldfish bowl. Jerry ran as fast as he could, but the vacuum pulled him closer and closer. At the last second, Jerry unplugged the cord. The vacuum exploded in reverse, blowing everything, including Tom, straight out the window. As Tom crawled back inside, covered in dust and leaves, Jerry held up a tiny white flag. But instead of surrendering, it was a trick. Jerry had drawn a funny face on the flag, making Tom even angrier. Tom lunged, and the chase continued through the garden. In the garden, they raced through flower beds, overturned watering cans, and even startled a group of birds. Jerry ran into the tool shed, and Tom followed, only to step on a rake that smacked him right in the face. Jerry couldn't stop laughing. Finally, as evening came, both were exhausted. Tom sat down with a sigh, his fur messy and his body sore. Jerry peeked out of his hole, holding a tiny piece of cheese. For a moment, Jerry hesitated. Then, with a smile, he walked over to Tom and offered him half of the cheese. Tom blinked in surprise. Slowly, he accepted the gift. The two sat side by side, sharing the cheese and watching the stars appear in the night sky. Of course, deep down, they both knew that tomorrow the chase would begin again, but for now, there was peace. The end.